All right, so I am Shai Alon. I flew in here, as Katya said, from Israel. Super excited to be here. And actually had my flight canceled 2 days ago, managed to get some connecting flights via Rome, and be here to tell you about multimodal agentic AI. So this sounds big. We're going to break it down. We're going to make it easy, and we're going to make it fun. So hopefully you'll laugh a bit, and we're going to make a day of it. A bit about me. I am Shai. I come from a technical background, so I was a developer, R&D team lead, a CTO of a startup, and a CEO of a startup. Both did medium well, if you can say that. Most recently, before joining Google, I was the director of AI innovation at Orca Security, which I'm sure many of you have heard about, an amazing company. And Katya said, "Hey, Shai, why don't you come here to Warsaw and tell the people a bit?" And I did. That was exactly a year ago. And that day really changed my life because I got to stand here on this exact stage in front of this amazing audience. So I see a bunch of familiar faces here and some new ones. And really tell the story of how I see AI and where things are going. And how a lot has changed since then. And for me, this actually opened up an opportunity to join Google. So when I was in the recruitment phase, I just sent them the video from last year, and that really helped. So thank you for being an amazing crowd. And no, but beyond that, thank you. Beyond that, really seeing the energy of the crowd here in Warsaw, in Warszawa, was really inspiring and made me want to invest more into educating and teaching and helping others be successful with AI. So let's get started. What are AI agents? Does anyone know? Can anyone maybe raise a hand and say? Okay, I see 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3. So that's a very small percentage. And the fact is that there's just a lot of ambiguity here. Blueprints emerging, like what is agentic AI? You're hearing buzzwords like MCP, NA2A, and a bunch of things, right? The fact is that there's a lot of ambiguity. Nobody can tell you for sure. I've seen people call agents anything from like a small chatbot to things that replace what companies do today, like with many humans. So, and anything in between. And I believe this ambiguity provides a lot of opportunity for you, the people who are building, who are creating, because there is a lot of vacuum right now with the created technology to build things on top, right? So there are the underlying building blocks, but no true products and agentic products are really emerging as something that is very prominent. So that is an opportunity for you. And I want to share with you how I see what I call the agentic spectrum, right? So, and this, you should think of it as a progression in levels. So the first phase is the generative AI phase, right? So you've all heard of GenAI, I assume. And GenAI is generally like prompt-based, think LLM chats and text generation, media generation, right? So images, video, audio. And so that's the GenAI phase, right? But you always have to come to it. You always have to tell the AI, hey, do something. However, agentic flow AI, which we're seeing emerging as more and more, has more of a structured protocol to it. Has anyone tried the Google Deep Research, for example? Okay, that's nicer. Not enough hands, but getting there. So really, when you capture a flow and build it into a software, by the way, I have another one called AI Search, right? You can search it on YouTube, Shai Alon AI Search, which we explain how we capture a process and put it into an agentic flow, right? And this is designed for a specific task, so a task that we know how to do, and we want to do it well with the Agentic AI. And the third phase, and this is where I think we, like humanity, is unraveling and kind of learning as we go, is dynamic agentic AI, right? So this AI is proactive. It can do things on its own that it wasn't directly designed to do. This AI can use a lot of tools in its toolbox and decide how to use each and every one, and it's adaptive to real-time feedback. Now, let's go through some examples. This is actually from when I visited Lisbon a month ago. So sorry for not switching the slides, but I really love the desserts there. So they have like Pastel de Nata and Pastel de Nata, and I wasn't sure what the differences are. And I asked Google Gemini, and it put out text basically explaining this is singular and that is plural, right? So that is a great example of like text-based Gen AI. Same goes for images. I can tell it, give me an image, and it will create an image. And generative AI is just progressing day by day at this point, really pushing the boundaries of what can be done. Today on Google Vertex AI, you can actually generate images, you can generate video, and you can generate audio. Okay, so, and the images are getting exceptionally good. So this means images that are either hyper realistic, so like as if a photographer, like we have here, took them on a camera, to 3D renders, to cartoons, and anything in between. Really exceptional stuff. VO2 is a model directly from Google DeepMind, which helps generate videos. So either like from a text to video, so I tell it a skier from the back skiing, or I set up one image and tell the model what I want to do, and then it would go ahead and do that. So this is really pushing the boundaries, looks completely realistic. I'll show you 1 minute just of videos generated with AI. Okay, so that was fun. And AI video is just reaching that level that it can generate realistic looking images. As you've seen, it can generate Hollywood-like effects, right? With the car just gliding. It has by now a pretty good understanding of physics, right? So if you saw the hand with the knife cutting the tomatoes, this is something that is very hard for AI to do. Now, it is by no means perfect. Let me tell you that. Okay, I tried to put up an image of a basketball player just by the hoop and told it, give me a dunk. And it created videos that are interesting, but no dunking involved, right? So like the ball just magically goes into the basket and all kinds of variations, but no dunking. So I'm not saying this technology is perfect by any means, but still you can create very sophisticated visuals with it. And this is really pushing generative AI and generative media to the next phases. Again, all kinds of different and unique things coming here, like camera presets, video outfit. So you see, if their original video was like too cropped, then it can basically imagine what comes from the boundaries, which is pretty cool. Video in paint, so you can see they removed what the person here is hanging by these ropes. And if you are a bit imaginative, you can see how a builder can go ahead and combine different elements here to create actual products, right? So in this case, we have a person who is wearing one piece of clothing, and using GenAI, using Imagen 3, we actually go ahead and customize that image to make the person wear a suit or another piece of clothing. And then we can go ahead and like animate it, put a background behind it, and really take it to the next level. So these are the kind of things that are now available with like looking ultra realistic, adhering to what we ask in the prompt. And generative media, like on Vertex AI and in the world in general, is just getting better. It's also very important to consider safety here when we are doing generative AI, and Google invests a lot into this. So you'll see all kinds of guardrails. For example, the model can generate images of children, but you can see here, for example, you can lock it out, or sometimes Google would block out these features just because we don't want these capabilities to be abused. Okay. And next, up and coming field, which is super interesting, is actually audio AIs, right? And so this nice song was just created from a prompt. The prompt is instrumental pop song with nighttime vibes, calm. Okay, here is another cool one. So this is West Coast hip hop in the style of the Bay Area. So very, very specific. And this again is another capability that you can go and like mix into product in very unique and interesting ways. Another very interesting capability that has emerged, has existed for a long time, but has emerged as finally really good at a human level is text to speech, right? So if you have something written and you want an AI character to play it out, by now, oops, yeah, good. So by now, this is finally working and working well. So check this out.
Our groundbreaking audio generation and understanding model, Chirp 3, now includes the following features. HD Voices allows you to generate speech from text and captures the nuances of human intonation, like making conversations more engaging and immersive. HD Voices is GA and available in 31 languages and 8 speaker options, for a total of 248 distinct voices. Another feature is Instant Custom Voice, which helps you generate realistic...
All right. Thank you, Chirp 3. So yeah, really getting to that realistic phase where you just don't feel creeped out by the AI talking to you. The instant custom voice basically allows you to clone the voice with a simple recording. This is, again, as Google, we are considering safety. So this is based on an allow list. We don't want anyone to just copy a voice. But again, so much just coming up here with the abilities that you have. So that right about covers generative AI. And this is like the first wave of true AI products and how they can help us get things done, right? But in many cases, you actually want them to do things that are more complex. There are more than just, hey, here is a prompt and do something. And this is where the phase that I call agentic AI flow engineering comes into play, right? So in, for example, Google Deep Research, I can ask something like Pastel de Nata versus Pastel de Belém. Again, this is my Lisbon example, but it's a famous dessert there in Lisbon, and it would go and create a research plan and actually read out from different websites across the web and kind of gather information. So this is a process that used to be manual. We would use to, as humans, like run these searches, get to these websites, compile all the information in our head and build some kind of story for ourselves. But now the AI does it for us, and it brings the most important ideas and concepts directly to our hands, right? So that is the agentic flow phase, and there are many good agentic flows out there. And I think, a lot of opportunities still to build these flows. But what I want to talk to you about today is the dynamic proactive agents. And these I haven't seen too much of. These are still in the realm of the imagination. And I believe, and this is, by the way, not a Google product, what I'm going to show you. It's not even an existing AI, okay? This is the product that I would want you to create. Now, I'm showing an example from my private life, but think how this relates to cybersecurity products, fintech products, whatever you are working on. So I was at my day in Lisbon, and suddenly
Hi, Shai.
I get
Nelson just wrote saying he might be a few minutes late since he is still in his meeting in Belay. Since your calendar is free, maybe you can instead meet him in Belay at Fábrica de Pastéis de Belay? You loved that place based on your Google Photos. I checked Google Maps, no traffic. Shall I order you an Uber?
All right, so what happened here? Nelson sent me a personal message saying he can't make our meeting on time. Okay. The AI, the proactive AI agent that I had given access to my DMs, to my calendar, to my photos, had gone ahead, understood this, and devised a plan of how I can make my day work, right? So the AI said, okay, if Nelson can't come to us, I see Shai has a free calendar. Maybe Shai can go and meet Nelson, and let's sweeten the deal a bit, okay? Because Shai likes sweet stuff. We'll take him to that dessert place that he loves based on his history, right? And it even checks Google Maps and says, order an Uber. So I tell my AI, that's a nice catch. Go ahead. Sounds great.
Perfect. Uber's on its way, 3 minutes ETA. I also called Nelson to let him know. Enjoy the Pastéis de Belay. And don't forget to snap some photos.
All right. So now you can see, once I've given the AI agent some basically allowed it to act on my behalf, it actually made a phone call to Nelson, and we'll see AI agents doing phone calls in just a bit. And it ordered my Uber for me. So this is actually like also a financial transaction, right? That I am allowing my AI, I'm actually giving my AI the ability to do on my behalf. So I like to call this AI alchemy, because basically you get to take all these building blocks, all right? Take high quality large language models like the Gemini models, take high quality image generation, take high quality video generation, audio, speech, everything, and combine it into products that go and change our lives, and obviously propagated to the rest of the very useful APIs that we have today, right? So ordering an Uber does not have to involve AI. It's just an API. Same goes for checking calendar or something like that. So you take all these new building blocks that work, you take all the tools that you have, like checking a calendar, like ordering an Uber, and you make them work into a unique and effective product. Now, these products definitely need forms of guardrails, right? Because what if the Uber is ordered to like somewhere that would cost me 1,000 euros, right? So it definitely does need some form of protection, but it can be done. I want to tell you a bit more in terms of the building blocks about the Gemini models. Who here uses Gemini on their day-to-day? All right, that's a nice amount of hands, but we should have more. It's good. So Gemini 2.5 Pro is just a very exquisite model designed for extensive reasoning. Doing really well on the benchmarks. Not that I want to brag, like came from third place to first place. Really fantastic stuff, right? And it's able to do things like code up an app for you.
One of the fun ways to test out a new model is to see how it improves existing applications. On the right, you can see the old 2.5 Pro and a fairly basic app. On the left, you can see it actually understood the video in depth and then made a fully functional quiz. This took the experience to the next level. And that is exactly what we hope you do with the new Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Okay, so coding is one example of a very sophisticated task that requires a lot of reasoning and thinking. And Gemini 2.5 Pro kind of broke my heart because I have been coding since I was 15. I just turned 40, so that is 25 years. And I thought I was pretty good at it. Okay. And I was working on this app, a React app, and it had a nasty like edge case bug with performance. And I just didn't, I checked all the errors. I didn't know how to fix it. And I tried, by the way, in Cursor and in root code and Klein with everything, just didn't work. Couldn't fix it. So the AI couldn't fix it. And I was on a ski trip the day that Gemini 2.5 Pro hit, and it also hit Cursor. And I had my laptop with me because that's what I do on vacations. And I said, okay, let's just try. So I actually already had a deep research report like that I created around like what are the potential problems of this React app, and I gave it into Cursor and with this Gemini 2.5 Pro, and it thought and thought and thought, and then it just started changing all the code in the app. And by the time it was done refactoring, the bug had gone away, the code was cleaner, and that was a very humbling experience for me personally. Like I've taken my entire life to hone the skill of programming, and suddenly a machine does it better than I do. But it was also very freeing, to be honest, because for the entirety of my life, I had to like tackle every small piece of that code, and suddenly the machine does it for me. It's amazing. It's like moving from a bicycle to a car. Like it's fun. So I urge you to try 2.5 Pro if you haven't.
One of the fun
And another really exceptional model is 2.5 Flash. This is really optimized for balance, right? Because we don't want it to be just smart. We want it to be fast, and we want it to be cheap and readily available to run many, many requests. And Flash is really good at that. In general, the Gemini models really favor this kind of like cost performance equation and do it really, really well. And I want to tell you a story about one of the startups I'm working with. They're called Doti. Very sophisticated AI tech that they're doing, like running all kinds of AI agents that look up stuff in your enterprise data and do all kinds of retrieval, question answering, very sophisticated stuff. And they got started basically before even like the modern Gemini models were using a different AI, and they were hitting bottlenecks. And these are good bottlenecks to hit, right? They have many happy customers, so it's costing them a lot of money, like LLM tokens, and it's getting like they're getting rate limited. It's getting slow, so these are the kind of things that they had to tackle with. And I told them, hey, try Gemini. It's perfect for your use case, like large context windows. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. Like, we won't do it. But I talked them into it. They have and the founder told me, hey, look, we do benchmarks, and we're very like intense about our benchmarks. And I said, fine. And like for a week, I didn't hear anything from them. And then suddenly he calls me up at like 9:30 p.m. while I'm bathing my baby daughter and says, oh my God, this Gemini thing, it's amazing. You don't know. And I told him like what? He said, it's like super fast and it saved us so much cash. So I urge you to just try it. Okay. It might not, I don't think you'll get like 100x performance in price factor. That was a one-off, just a complete fit in terms of the model and what it needed and the context windows they needed, and getting behind some of the workarounds they were using before. But definitely it can be a significant boost for you. So I was very happy when they like put this out there for people to know. And finally, we get to this, which is what is multimodal. That's the concept of this talk, but we're halfway through and even more. So basically, multimodal is the combination of images, text, audio, and video into one model. Okay. And when you do that, it unlocks a lot of interesting things inside the AI. It means one model can now read images, right? As if it's text. It can understand audio. It can output audio. It can output images. These are very unique capabilities. And one of the way I really love playing with this is the live API that we have that really enables having human-like conversations with Gemini. So voice AI, I personally think, is going to be huge. A report by Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most prominent investors, Olivia Moore, put out the report, and the report opens with the sentence, voice AI is one of the most powerful unlocks for AI application companies. It is the most frequent and most information-dense form of human communication, and it's made programmable for the first time due to AI. So let's break that down, right? Voice is big. We're using voice right now. It's generally the best way for us humans to communicate. And it's made programmable. You can actually, for the first time, write code that controls voice. Okay? And that is a superpower. That happened for text in late 2022. It's happening in 2025 for voice, and I'm seeing it in a lot of places. At the Gemini models, this was really a lot of investment around understanding voice, outputting voice, and the live API. I want to show you a quick example. So in Israel, every time you need to renew your car insurance, someone calls you up and they say, hey, Shai, you need to renew your insurance. And I tell them it's too expensive. I don't even know the price, and I tell them it's too expensive. And then they say, oh, okay, I'll ask my manager. And then they go, and like after a minute, they come back and say, I got you a deal. And then I say, okay, give them my card, and we're good to go. And I thought, hey, maybe I can replicate that with the live API. So I fired up AI Studio, and when I asked who's using Gemini, you should all be using AI Studio, okay? Because AI Studio is awesome, like in terms of it has access to the best models. It's pretty much free. You can get API keys. So I actually use that much more than I use any other AI productivity product. I really urge you to try this out. It's amazing. So they have in AI Studio like a stream tab, and I gave it system instructions. You are Eric, you're a car insurance salesman, you're calling Shai. This is like the renewal quote. And so that's like giving it a backstory. And this can be very elaborate. So you can see the small scroll bar here. It's a whole story that Gemini created about the company and its policies and all that. And the second part is function calling, right? And function calling is our bridge to the actual software that already works, right? So for example, processing a payment or getting a quote from the customer, we don't want the AI to make up stuff there, right? Like the price is defined in the system. And it's not like the agent can sell me the insurance for $1. Same goes for like processing the payment. It happens in a payment gateway, and that they check the credit card. It doesn't happen in the agent's brain. So using function calling when building AI agents is extremely important. These are the tools the AI agent uses. And check out what happened when Eric called me to renew my car insurance. Hello?
Hi, Shai. It's Eric from Insure AI, calling about your car insurance renewal for your Skoda Superb. License plate.
Yeah,
45
Eric, I got your emails.
Great.
A bit expensive.
Look, you've been with us for 10 years. You know it's the best deal. And I've even managed to secure a little something extra off for you. The renewal quote I have here for you is 1,300 United States dollars. How does that sound?
Still too expensive.
Okay, Shai, let me see what I can do. I'll check if there are any additional discounts we can apply, given your loyalty. Okay, Shai, good news. I've managed to apply a loyalty discount. The new price is 1,235 United States dollars. That's the best I can do for you. How does that sound?
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Great. Let's get this sorted quickly. Can you please provide me with your credit card number, the expiration month and year?
4580-1111-2222-3972.
Thanks. And the expiration date?
I believe it's August 2028. No, 2029.
Thanks, Shai. August 2029. Let me just process that for you now. Perfect, Shai. Payment processed successfully. Your policy is renewed. You'll receive the updated policy document via email shortly. Thanks for your continued business.
All right, bye, man.
Thanks, Shai. Goodbye.
All right, so hopefully that was fun. It's supported in like 20 languages, so you might get these agents calling you soon. Just an FYI. Yeah, and I find this to be really, really close to human-like conversations. The AI does mess up sometimes. So you can see on this demo, for example, I told it 2028, no, 29. So it didn't mess up that one. But it does have some hiccups. for example. Like I wrote down like my email is shai.alon at google.com. And the AI, when it tried to read out, so one of the demos I was like testing out, I told it, what email are you sending to? So it doesn't say I'm sending to shai.alon. It's like reading it out like a sentence. So I'm sending to Shai Alon. Like, so definitely there are some weird hiccups, but in general, as you've seen, we're getting to human-like conversation with these AIs. A lot of upside to anyone building with this, and the API is quite simple. So you can actually go ahead and do this. You can see here function calling. Here I'm just mimicking it in the UI, but in the real world, this would be a system that gives you the quote. Same goes for processing the payment. So this is fun. AI agents everywhere. If you're like the CEO or the product person, like, give me agents. I want 1,000 agents and I want them now. But if you're the R&D or the CTO, it's like a bit more challenging, and you're the person who has to actually build this. And as much as we at Google give you great tools, still a lot of challenge. So here are a few practical tips for building, like really how to progress here. So start small and iterate, right? If you haven't built with AI yet, it's weird. It's undeterministic. Like writing prompts is weird. So tackle something small that might work, and basically move up from there. If you have a big project in mind, see how you can divide and conquer, make something smaller that actually works. A small tip from myself, and this, like we discussed yesterday at the dinner, go promptless. So these are experiences that work really, really well. So back when I was at Orca, one of the features that customers absolutely loved took me like half an hour to build. And it was that when you create filters and you hit save, then it just gives it the name and description. And people love that because they didn't need to prompt the machine. It just did it itself. And you can see here another example of this is inside the Gemini. You know, I had some chat, never mind, like said, tell me a joke about CTOs, and it did. And now it automatically gives it the name, right? It's promptless. I didn't have to prompt it, hey, please save this and give it a nice name based on the context of our conversation. Yeah, it just works. So these are the small experiences you can start with, which are GenAI based, and move yourself up to flows and to more sophisticated things. Now, I hear a lot about automations and agents and employees, and everybody's going to be out of a job. I don't buy it. But in general, the way I see it is automations are what worked before AI. These are hard-coded steps that you need to do something, right? For example, you have a lead, you put it inside the database, you send an email to someone. Okay, these are very like known procedures, low autonomy, so they cannot change the way they work, but they can work at very high scale. Okay, employees, on the other hand, handle a lot of stuff, right? So as employees in an org, we can do a bunch of stuff. You know, we can create bugs, we can create more bugs. We can sit at meetings, we can stalk the CEO in the elevator and tell them we want to build something. So we can do a bunch of stuff, some of it productive. But ultimately, you know, we need vacations, we need to sleep, we need to eat. So human resources are not like limitless. And that's where agentic AI comes in it doesn't have the autonomy that actual human employees have in a workplace. It has less, right? So you build it to do kind of something specific, okay? But it still has enough flexibility, like it can run research or write some code or do something like that, that makes it able to solve tasks that cannot be done with pure automation. So it's kind of like in the medium autonomy and medium scale. Just a way I like to think of it. Always, for mission critical things, have humans in the loops. Okay, so if this is finance or healthcare or legal or government or anything like this, have a human in the loop checking what the AI is doing, right? And we already have this in our lives, like a pull request has a human in the loop who needs to, validate the pull request, and we already have human in the loops for humans, so we also need them for AIs. The power of the tooling is very important, right? When you're building agentic AI, you need to provide it with really good tooling. For example, one useful tool that almost all AI needs is just the ability to run a Google search. Okay, just the ability. The AI says, I don't have this information in my LLM brain, either because it wasn't ingested, or because it was like very new. So these are recent events, right? So tools are very important. Try not to have like an agent with 1,000 tools. That gets really hard to manage. And when you see you have this pattern, it means generally that you need to break it down into sub-agents. For example, if you have an agent that has like write to database, read to database, update database, and so forth, then you need a separate micro agent to handle database tasks that works with the larger agent. Okay? Seamlessly integrated. So we want these to be in our lives, like the demo I showed. Like it knows my calendar, it knows my DMs, and yeah, we really want to ensure that when we're creating agents, they are actually reliable. So how do we know that they do the things they're supposed to do? So as builders, it's not like, hey, we're shipping a demo here. You actually need to build some really good tests and evals. And like the company I told you about, Doti, they were sure that the solution works for them because they had already created so many tests that they could run basically any model and see what breaks. And in general, they knew what the error rate was and what the success rate is and everything in between. You also need to build a lot of like real-time validation inside the product to make sure while the AI is thinking, you can actually tap into its thoughts and like make sure that it's being steered in the right direction. Google has released in Next the Agent Development Kit. I have to say I've not gotten around to building with it myself, but I hear it's pretty amazing. So here's a call to action to you to try it out. Same goes for agent-to-agent protocol. And yeah, this is right about the end of the talk. I did want to leave. Yeah, we have 7 minutes, right? 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so basically this is a call to action. You have so much to build. You have all the building blocks, okay? If you are working on startups or startup related stuff, call me personally. I'll give you the details and I can help you. And even if you're not, like, feel free to reach out. You can build some really amazing and unique stuff for the first time in history. Like, this is a very interesting opportunity. You have both a plethora of things that are new that you can build with GenAI, with Agentic AI, and everything in between. And meanwhile, it's gotten much easier to build because Agentic AI is helping you build the code, build the PRDs, right? Do the marketing, right? So these come as combinations, making your life as innovators much better. That's it for me. It was amazing being back in Warsaw. I hope the next time is not in a year from now, but much sooner. Yeah, and feel free to take my info, talk to me about anything, and this has been amazing. Thank you.